Unit 2. Topic 2.1. Lamarckism. Unit 2. Topic 2.1. Lamarckism. Contents. Lamarckism. Neo-Lamarckism. Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, 1744 to 1829. Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, 1744 to 1829, was a pioneering French naturalist and biologist who is best known for his theory of evolution, often called Lamarckism. While his ideas have since been largely superseded by Darwinian evolution and modern genetics, Lamarck's work laid crucial groundwork in the field of evolutionary biology. Lamarckism. Lamarckism, also known as the theory of inheritance of acquired characteristics, is one of the earliest evolutionary theories proposed to explain how organisms change over time. It was introduced by Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, 1744 to 1829, a French naturalist, primarily in his work Philosophie zoologique published in 1809. Key principles of Lamarckism. Lamarck proposed two main principles to explain evolution: use and disuse. Organs that are frequently used become stronger, larger, or more developed over time. Organs that are not used deteriorate and may eventually disappear. For example, Lamarck suggested that giraffes have long necks because their ancestors stretched to reach high leaves. Inheritance of acquired characteristics. Traits acquired during an organism's lifetime, due to environmental interaction or activity, can be passed on to its offspring. For instance, if an animal develops stronger muscles through effort during its life, its offspring would inherit these stronger muscles. Examples Lamarck used: giraffes developing long necks from stretching to reach leaves on tall trees. Blacksmiths' children inheriting strong arms from their parents' work. Aquatic birds developing webbed feet due to frequent swimming. Historical context and influence. 1809, Lamarck published Philosophie zoologique, laying the foundation for his theory. His ideas were among the first to suggest that life evolved over time and were significant in challenging the belief in the immutability of species. Lamarck's theory was overshadowed by Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection in 1859, which provided a more robust mechanism for evolution. Criticism of Lamarckism. Modern genetics disproved the inheritance of acquired characteristics. Traits acquired during an organism's life do not alter its genetic code, DNA, and, therefore, cannot be inherited. Experiments, such as those by August Weismann in the late 19th century, showed that changes to the body, somatic cells, do not affect germ cells, sperm and egg. Modern perspective. Although Lamarckism is not considered scientifically valid in its original form, recent studies in epigenetics have shown that environmental factors can cause changes in gene expression that may be passed to offspring. This has revived some interest in Lamarckian-like mechanisms, albeit not in the form Lamarck originally proposed. Importance in anthropology. Lamarckism played a critical role in the history of evolutionary thought and influenced early anthropological discussions about human evolution and adaptation. It marked a significant step in developing ideas about how organisms, including humans, adapt to their environments over generations. Criticism from several scientists and anthropologists. Lamarck's theory faced criticism from several scientists and anthropologists, particularly in the 19th and early 20th centuries, after the advent of more robust theories and experimental evidence. Below are key figures who criticized Lamarckism, their reasons, and the historical context. 1. Georges Cuvier, 1769 to 1832. Year of criticism, early 19th century. Reason. Cuvier was a proponent of catastrophism, which proposed that Earth's history was shaped by sudden, short-lived, violent events rather than gradual evolutionary processes. He opposed Lamarck's idea of gradual transformation of species, arguing that the fossil record showed no evidence of intermediate forms between species. 2. Charles Darwin, 1809 to 1882. Year of criticism, 1859, In on the Origin of Species. Reason. Darwin proposed the theory of natural selection, which provided a more scientifically robust explanation for evolutionary changes. He argued that adaptation results from differential survival and reproduction, not the inheritance of acquired traits. Darwin acknowledged that Lamarck had paved the way for evolutionary thinking but rejected Lamarck's mechanisms as scientifically unsubstantiated. 3. Gregor Mendel, 1822 to 1884, Posthumous Influence. Rediscovery of Mendel's work, early 20th century, 1900. Reason. Mendel's genetic experiments showed that traits are passed through discrete hereditary units, genes, not acquired characteristics. His work directly contradicted Lamarck's mechanism of inheritance and laid the groundwork for modern genetics. 4. August Weismann, 1834 to 1914. Year of criticism, 1889. Reason. Weismann's germplasm theory argued that only germ cells, sperm and egg, carry hereditary information, while changes in somatic cells, body cells, do not affect offspring. He conducted experiments, such as cutting off the tails of mice over several generations, showing that the acquired trait, tail loss, was not inherited. 5. Francis Galton, 1822 to 1911. Year of criticism, late 19th century. Reason. Galton's work in heredity emphasized that traits are passed through genetic inheritance rather than acquired characteristics. His studies debunked the idea of acquired traits being transferred to offspring. 6. Thomas Huxley, 1825 to 1895. Year of criticism, mid to late 19th century. Reason. Huxley, known as Darwin's bulldog, supported Darwin's theory of natural selection. He critiqued Lamarck's lack of empirical evidence and mechanistic detail, emphasizing that acquired traits were not scientifically observable as heritable. 7. Modern anthropologists and scientists. By the early 20th century, the rise of the modern synthesis, 1930s-40s, combining Darwinian evolution with Mendelian genetics further discredited Lamarckism. Key figures. Julian Huxley, 1887 to 1975, who emphasized genetic inheritance. Ronald Fisher, 1890 to 1962, and Sewell Wright, 1889 to 1988, who developed population genetics. Reasons for criticism. 1. Lack of empirical evidence. No experimental proof supported the inheritance of acquired characteristics. 2. Fossil record. The fossil record did not show gradual changes predicted by Lamarck. 3. Genetics. Discoveries in genetics demonstrated that traits are inherited through DNA, unaffected by an organism's activities during its lifetime. 4. Mechanistic weakness. Lamarckism lacked a clear, scientifically testable mechanism for how traits were passed on. Summary of criticism timeline. Early 19th century, Georges Cuvier, Fossil Evidence and Catastrophism. Mid-19th century, Darwin and Contemporaries, Natural Selection as an Alternative. Late 19th century, Weismann and Galton, Genetics and Germplasm Theory. 20th century, modern synthesis solidified the rejection of Lamarckism. While Lamarck's theory is no longer accepted, his contributions were instrumental in sparking the broader scientific discussion about evolution, influencing anthropology, biology, and natural sciences. Neo-Lamarckism is a modified version of Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired characteristics. It emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, incorporating newer ideas to address criticisms of Lamarckism while retaining its central concept that environmental factors could influence traits and their inheritance. Unlike classical Lamarckism, Neo-Lamarckism attempted to align with some experimental observations and avoided Lamarck's original metaphysical ideas. Key concepts of Neo-Lamarckism. 1. Environmental influence. Emphasizes that environmental factors can directly affect the development of traits in organisms. These environmentally influenced traits could potentially be passed to offspring. 2. Role of use and disuse. Similar to Lamarckism, traits enhanced by use or diminished by disuse could be inherited. 3. Developmental plasticity. Focuses on how organisms adapt during their lifetime, with the potential for these adaptations to influence heredity. 4. Epigenetic mechanisms, modern perspective. Some Neo-Lamarckian ideas resonate with epigenetics, which studies how environmental factors can influence gene expression without altering the DNA sequence itself. Certain epigenetic changes, such as DNA methylation, can be passed to subsequent generations, indirectly supporting aspects of Neo-Lamarckism. Development and key contributors. 1. Etienne Rabbaud, 1868–1956. Advocated that external environmental conditions could lead to heritable changes in organisms. Suggested that heredity was flexible and influenced by the environment. 2. Edward Drinker Cope, 1840–1897. A leading American Neo-Lamarckian who proposed that habitual activity and environmental pressures could lead to heritable changes. Worked on evolutionary patterns in vertebrates. 3. Alpheus Hyatt, 1838–1902. An American paleontologist who argued that fossil records showed evidence of traits acquired due to environmental adaptation. 4. T. H. Morgan, 1866–1945. Initially explored Neo-Lamarckian ideas but later shifted to Mendelian genetics after his groundbreaking work on fruit flies. His transition from Neo-Lamarckism to genetics reflected the broader scientific community's move toward rejecting the theory. Timeline of Neo-Lamarckism. 1860s, 1900s. Development of Neo-Lamarckism as an alternative to Darwinian natural selection. 1889, August Weismann's germplasm theory, disproving the inheritance of acquired traits, challenged Neo-Lamarckian ideas but did not eliminate their popularity. Early 20th century, Neo-Lamarckism declined as Mendelian genetics and the modern synthesis gained prominence. 21st century, resurgence of interest due to epigenetics, which provides a modern framework for understanding how environmental influences might affect heredity. Neo-Lamarckism in modern context. While Neo-Lamarckism is not considered a primary evolutionary theory, modern epigenetics has revived interest in some of its ideas. For example, environmental stresses, e.g., famine, toxins, can cause heritable changes in gene expression in humans and other species. Studies on phenomena like the Dutch hunger winter show how environmental factors can influence multiple generations through epigenetic changes. Summary. Neo-Lamarckism served as an intermediary step between Lamarck's original theory and modern evolutionary biology. It attempted to integrate environmental influences with heredity but was largely overshadowed by Darwinian evolution and Mendelian genetics. Its legacy persists in the study of epigenetics, demonstrating how Lamarckian-like processes might play a role in evolution. Upcoming topic 2.1. Part B. Darwinism. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. Anthronet Academy. Stay connected. We're here to support your UGC NET exam journey to success.